decades, pet owners have been encouraged to be responsible and have their dogs and their cats neutered and spayed in an effort to keep the puppies and kittens population under control. A healthy cat alone, when not spayed, can actually have up to 3 litters every year. And every one of those litters can have up to 8 kittens. Do the math. That's a lot of kittens. And unfortunately, a lot of these unwanted kittens turn out to be unwanted cats that find themselves abandoned and lonely on streets and lanes in your boroughs and townships. And it's groups like the Mount Pleasant Cat Committee, that's where they came in, and they're the ones that are making a difference. Hi. Welcome to Around the Town with Marilyn Forbes. For today's very special show, we're actually going to be meeting with Cindy Stevenson, who is the president and co-founder of the Mount Pleasant Cat Committee. She's going to tell us about their organization, some events they have, and you may even see some great adoption opportunities. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show. Okay, well, as promised, we are now going to speak with Cindy Stevenson, who actually was the founder and president of the Mount Pleasant Cat Committee. Cindy, thanks for being with us today.
Well, it's my pleasure. We really appreciate being able to get our message out here.
And some of these little guys here that we're going to visit with later. But we're actually going to start with Cindy at the very beginning. Okay, so tell us about how your organization started.
Well, I'm on the Borough Council in Mount Pleasant, and I used to hear pretty regular complaints about how many stray cats there were running around town. And finally, someone proposed that they were going to hire a company to come in and trap them. And so I asked the question, what happens after they're trapped? And no one wanted to answer that. So I took that as a very bad sign. I thought, well, I need to do something. So I was friends from the Historical Society with a woman named Connie Gentry. And I was telling her about this, and Connie said, if you want to do something, I'll help. And so that's really the spark right there. When Connie said that, I said, all right, we've got to do something. So we did some research, and we found out that Trap, Neuter, Return is, while not perfect, it's the best program that anybody has come up with for controlling the population of unowned cats. So we just put the word out that we were going to do something like this, whoever wanted to volunteer. And we started out with a core group of 6 people, and that's kind of how it got started.
Now, trap, neuter, and release is?
Well, it's just what it says. I mean, if there are unowned cats in a neighborhood, we have traps, and we go out and trap them. It's a very humane process. They're not hurt in any way. We trap them. We take them to be spayed or neutered. They get a rabies shot. Usually they get a flea treatment, and then they get returned where they were. So the idea behind that is that a colony of cats, once they're spayed and neutered, it's self-limiting because they're not going to be reproducing anymore. And colonies are not usually very welcoming to a new cat that comes in. So once you get them spayed and neutered, it's stabilized. And if there's someone there to make sure that they have food and some kind of shelter from the weather, then they'll just live out their lives that way.
Okay, now you had said about the traps that you use. They're actually, aren't they called like a have-a-heart trap or something like that? They're considered harmless.
Yes, Have a Heart is a specific brand name.
Oh, okay.
And so we don't use Have a Heart traps. We went with some professional grade traps. At the opposite end from the trap, the whole back lifts up, and that allows us, we have these cats in our custody for 2 or 3 days, and so that allows us to take care of them, get them food and water. We got a lot of little residents here. So yeah, people kind of refer to them as a Have a Heart trap because that's the kind of trap it is, but that's not the brand.
Okay. I didn't realize that. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, now what Cindy's group does is she relies on phone calls and information from folks that have a stray cat, maybe a mom and some kittens that are running loose, and then what? They contact you, and then what do you folks do from there?
Well, I usually talk to people a lot on the phone, and then go out and see what the situation is. And we do engage people to set the trap and watch the trap themselves because I can't be everywhere. So most of the cats that get trapped are trapped by the property owners where they are. And if they're able to bring them to me, that's fine. Sometimes I meet people and they hand them off to me, and then we would, as the rest of the process goes on, get them spayed or neutered and then return them back there.
And it's really nice too. There's actually several veterinarians in the area that have worked with your group have helped you out on the cost over the years?
Well, we started out that way. We started out working with some private veterinarians, but as we got more and more requests and as our group began to grow, we now take our cats to the Humane Society in Greensburg. We have a standing appointment there every Wednesday. We have 6 cats there today. Private veterinarians are, although they were very, very helpful to us in a number of ways at the beginning, they're not able to give us, 5 or 6 or 8 appointments a week. So we have the standing appointments at the Humane Society and the Humane Society in Derry, which is called Action for Animals. When we've been really busy, we'll get some extra appointments and go there. So we've had some days back in the fall where we were doing, 12 or 14 cats in a week. Just depends how busy we are at that moment.
And I do want to point out, even if you do get better rates or good rates, it's still rates, still money. And that's where the fundraising comes in, and the folks have to do a lot of fundraising in order to keep their group going.
Well, that's absolutely true. We estimated that we spent about $16,000 last year on vet bills. And that includes all the vet bills. Once in a while, there are cats that are sick, that need some additional attention. And so, of course, we're not going to take a really ill cat and put him back out there. But so the most of that money would have been spent. We're distracted by a little kitty here. Most of that money was spent on spays and neuters, but a certain amount of it also went to just extra vet care for cats that needed it.
And then also, too, they have drives for food and for cat items, cat toys, that cleaning products, that type of stuff. As you can see behind here, this is actually just a little sampling of the mountains of donations. People have been very generous to you folks over the years.
Well, yes, it's an event that we started, I think, 4 years ago, where we're at Walmart one weekend, and we chose January to do this. So we stand out there for 2 days and give people a wish list as they come in. So people can either give us a cash donation, or they go in the store with the wish list and they can see what we need and what we want, and they just bring it back out. They buy it in the store and bring it back out to us. So we did that the second weekend in January this year, and we ended up with about 6 pickup truckloads of stuff, cat food, cleaning products, paper towels, all those kinds of things that it takes to keep going.
And a lot of the food that they do collect is given to the folks in the area that are taking care of the colonies of cats?
That's 100% true, yes. The cats that we care for on a semi-permanent or permanent basis here, we have a particular food that we feed them. So all the food that we collect at this food drive is then distributed to people who are caring for cats who, are maybe struggling to feed them in their backyards. So we give that away.
Well, that's wonderful. And they can contact you on the Facebook page that we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Okay. Now, although TNR is their primary mission, a couple years ago they found themselves kind of in a little bit of a different league.
Yes.
And right now we are actually sitting in a home here in the area that is a temporary residence for about 40 cats.
Yes. Yes.
And all of these kitties, most of these kitties are up for adoption.
Most of them are. Yeah, there are a few that, just by their personalities or some sort of medical thing, we think that they're going to just live out their lives here. But most of these cats are adoptable cats, yes.
And we want to stress they're not collecting them. I mean, so please don't call us or call her if you have cats. These are ones that they just happen to come upon many different circumstances.
That's correct. Yeah, many different circumstances. Shall I give an example?
Yes, absolutely.
One that sticks in my mind is the black cat that was just sitting here with us. Someone abandoned a mother cat and 5 kittens at Mammoth Park. And some folks were out there for a picnic, found them and called us. And so there was nowhere to take them back to. Here in town, or when some person calls us and the cats are in their backyard, those are caring people. And they're, we're going to get the cats fixed and they'll continue to feed them. But when they've just been abandoned out there in a park like that, there was no one there to care for them. So we took in a mom and 5 babies, and they're all in good shape. Everybody's been adopted with the exception of we have 1 boy and 1 girl left of the babies. But the mom found a great home, and the other babies are in good homes.
And they're all black? They were the black one. There was a black one that was on our lap?
Solid black. I mean, Very, yeah, they were really beautiful cats, and their fur is very thick and plushy. I gave up at some point on even giving them names because we couldn't tell them apart. Couldn't tell them apart.
So she's going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, and Candy, who's one of our volunteers, did some research and found Sharpie made a water-based paint pen. So we tried that. We were marking their ears with this white paint, but because it's water-based, and it would wear off after a couple of days. So it just got to be massively confusing about the black kittens.
Just gave it up.
Yeah, they're black kittens, whatever you want to call them. Once you adopt them, you call them whatever you
Whatever you
want.
like.
Yeah.
Now, she actually brought up something I wanted to stress to you folks, the ears. Now, the cats in the Mount Pleasant area that have already been trapped, neutered, and released, they'll have a little tipped ear. That way, then, if you see them out and about, you don't want to call these folks because they've already been taken care of and they're already good to go.
That is correct. Now, can I just do a little demonstration here? If this is the cat's ear, if this is the cat's left ear, they'll while they're under anesthesia, they just cut straight across the tip of the ear. Early on, a couple of our vets didn't like that tipping, and so you'll see some cats around town that have a little V cut in the side of the ear.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
So either one you see, if you see a stray cat, try to get a look at its left ear and just see if the tip is gone, if it's straight across, then you know that someone already cared enough to take care of that cat, and they are, most likely feeding it and caring for it, and so that one's okay.
Good to go. Now, Cindy had mentioned earlier they're always looking for volunteers to help them with their events and such. Now, what about foster homes? Are you looking for any foster homes for your kitties right now, or what's the status with that?
We've used several people to foster. Again, Candy's a good example of that. She and her family have fostered several cats, as have some other people. If we have a kitty that we think is kind of on the verge of, is it friendly enough to get adopted? Is it not? It's good for that one to go to a foster home where they get more personalized attention and maybe get more socialized, and if we have kitten season is going to be coming up. If we have too many kittens that are just kind of overwhelming us, it'd be great to have some people who wanted to take care of some kittens until they get old enough to get fixed and adopted.
And there again too, they can just contact you on the Facebook page.
I think that's the preferred method. Just look at our Facebook page and send us a message, and we'd talk to you. We have a little agreement. We have a little foster agreement that just says what we expect of you, and we have had several what we call failed fosters, where someone takes a cat to foster and then they don't want. See, Candy's in that category. Don't want to give it up. So now it just lives there.
Kind of a win-win, though.
That works out all around. Yes, it does.
Okay, now this little guy. This is what? This is number 4. We were saying.
Yeah, it's whatever you want to call it.
He's a very good example. These cats are well taken care of here. The ones here at the house that they are suspicious may even have the smallest amount of a virus or something. They're separated from the other cats. Yes. They're all clean, and very, very, as I said, very, very well cared for. And they're happy, but they're looking for forever homes.
Well, yeah. I do think that the cats here are happy cats, and we're taking good care of them. But there's really, too many to be in one home. And most of these guys would be a lot happier if they were in a home where they were the only cat, or maybe one of, 2 or 3 or 4 cats, instead of being surrounded by so many. I'm going to throw in a pitch for our cat food, because I think that's what accounts for them looking so good. We use something called Nutrisource, and we buy it at Muddy Paws on Main Street here.
Okay.
So it's a very high-quality food, and I think that's part of the reason. It's a big part of the reason these cats look so good.
Now, I wanted to throw in there, too, real quick, that a new thing in the Mount Pleasant Journal is going to be something called Kitty Corner. And every other week, Cindy's going to be spotlighting another one of these little guys or gals that needs a home, and maybe give you a little bit of a background story. And also, too, before we go and visit JR, who's looking for a home, I wanted to say, Cindy, guess what I did the other day?
What?
I bought some bird food.
Well, that's an excellent development, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I know most of you out there are probably saying, like, whoop-de-doo, Marilyn bought birdseed. But actually, back whenever Cindy and her group started here in the borough, the east end of town was probably one of the worst sections, and I lived there. so I can be a testament to what these people have done. I stopped feeding the birds because the stray cats were just so plentiful in my area. Well, now, through the years and through the process that these folks have made, 1,700 cats they've trapped about.
We're just short of 1,700 right now. Yes.
Yes, that's just excellent. And as I said, we were talking earlier before, you couldn't drive down Washington Street without seeing a cat or two. And now they've really done their job. And as a borough resident, thank you, thanks a lot. But we're going to go visit with JR, right?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes aims to donate 5 dogs to area veterans suffering from PTSD, seizure disorders, and more, in conjunction with Guardian Angels medical service dogs. Here's how to help. Visit your local Armstrong office to make a donation, or go to www.medicalservicedogs.org and choose Armstrong as the designation. You can also mail donations to the address on your screen. For more information, visit us on Facebook. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
With JR here, who has become a special mission for me. I want JR to find a home, and just give us a little bit of a background on what you folks think happened with JR.
It's very hard to tell. He showed up in somebody's backyard. He already had an eye surgically removed, and he's been declawed, which we do not approve of at all. But it was already done when he came to us. So he's just looking for a home where he would be the only cat, or we think he'd be okay with another cat, but he's not happy to be surrounded by a lot of little cats. And I really don't think he's probably great for someplace where there are little kids. Mm-hmm. He's missing that eye, and he tends to get startled if you approach him from his blind side. He gets a little bit startled.
Oh, he's such a nice kitty cat that we were playing with him earlier. He needs a home, and he's just one of many that they have here that, as Cindy talked about earlier. And you want to tell us about PetSmart real quick then before we meet Chester here?
Yes, PetSmart, we go there almost every Saturday and Sunday. We're set up there. We're in cooperation with another group. And we try to do adoptions there. It's been very successful. Or people can look online at petfinder.com or adoptapet.com and search on the cat committee, and you'll see pictures and profiles of a lot of our cats. Then you can contact us by email, and we've done a lot of adoptions through that also.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. It's good to know that these cats are once abandoned and taken off the streets are now finding forever homes, and that's excellent.
Yes.
That you guys do such great work here. Thank you. And what can we do? What can folks here do for you?
Well, honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think probably the number one thing that is helpful is if people want to donate to us. We spend a lot of money taking care of these cats. If you want to donate cash, that's always a good thing. If you don't like giving cash, you could go buy a bag of cat food, get us a package of paper towels, there's a case of canned cat food. All those things are what we're constantly going through and using lots of them on a real regular basis. You can look at our Facebook page. We do have a link there to a Walmart wish list that lists a bunch of things. You can go there and buy it. You can have it shipped to us, pretty much however you want to do it.
Okay, and also too, the Glass Festival, every end of the September weekend, they always have a booth there. It's informational booth, and they're also usually selling some items too. Is another type of a fundraiser to get you folks some money.
That's right. The Glass Festival is a very important event for us. We're always set up on Washington Street, right across from the Senior Center. So come and see us. We will have raffles and things to sell, and we meet a lot of people there, and we have a lot of fun there.
And you also have a really nice presence in the parade. I think he might be here. Chester, you here? Come on.
Here, kitty, kitty.
Here, kitty, kitty. Big kitty, kitty. Chester actually has become the symbol of the cat committee. Chester's ridden in parades, and he's at a lot of the fundraisers that they have at Walmart and such.
That's right.
So if you see Chester, you know that it's a cat committee event, and come on over and donate. Maybe get your picture taken with Chester. Chester likes to have his picture taken, doesn't he? There you go. Okay. Hey, before we finish up here, Cindy, you want to tell us real quick what that Facebook address is for people to get in touch with you?
It is Cat Committee of Mount Pleasant 15666.
There you go. So. How easy can that be? And we'll have that information at the end as well. So, hey, thank you, ladies. Or Chester is a I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Okay, he's a boy kitty. But thank you for being on the show. I hope you folks enjoyed it. And again, if you want to donate, Cindy told you what they really need. And if you need another little kitty in your house, it would be great. These folks really have some nice ones here, and it would be great if some of you can provide those forever homes that we were talking about.
That's
so
right.
thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it was a pleasure. And remember out there, folks, keep smiling, keep dreaming, and keep watching.